There it is. Welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I'm your Fleet Admiral and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best British crew this side of Jet Reno's Secret Courier Life. Don't we want that book? I want that book, or episode, or short trek, or give me anything. Vice Admiral Eric is here, and I'm just here for you going last week. That's holy shit. That's a big ship.
I think I said it was a big fucking ship.
I think you may have said it's a big fucking ship. You might be right.
It's a big
Stop
ship.
saying fuck all the time, Eric.
I'm a bad influence.
We can't say fuck on this show.
I know. PG.
Yeah, it's not allowed. It's not allowed. Sub-Commander Giraffe is here for all the Tarina sass. She was good this week. Yeah, exactly. And Commander MC is here secretly thinking, can we just go right into our Into Darkness retrospective instead?
I have a lot of feelings, okay?
It's true. It's true. Captain Hawk is off tonight. We'll see him next week. Or you can go back and watch our pod from yesterday and see him. So do what you want. That's why we do the show. How you guys doing? Welcome back. It's like I didn't see you yesterday or anything. Like, you know.
I'm fucking tired because of you guys.
What did I do?
You guys kept me up late last night.
We did a 2.5 hour pod last night.
That is true.
I blame MC.
I blame both of you because you both went on some epically long rants. Good rants, not bad rants.
I mean,
but
I did most of the
rants.
talking.
It was not rants, it was just talking.
Yeah.
epically long conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have a lot of feelings, okay?
I just have a lot of feelings. I do too. It was a great pod. I loved it. You should go listen to it. Our retrospective on Star Trek 2009 turning 15 years old, which means we're all fucking old. Yeah. So this week we're going to review episode 507 of Star Trek Discovery. Erigah, Moll and L'ak are in custody, but the Breen are quick to want to take them off the Federation's hands. Tarina, Vance, Raynor, Michael, they all excel at outthinking the Breen for now, at least. Na'an, or I don't know why I just called her Na'an, like La'an. Na'an. No, Yum Yum. Na'an is back, which I know makes Yum Yum Pod very happy. And then the bit of a shock at the end with L'ak. We won't spoil it right now. We'll do it when we get into the main show. We tend to have a lot of viewers these days. So if this is your first time watching the pod, I feel like we get someone new every week. We're a spoiler show. So there's going to be full spoilers for this episode. Every single week. And also we learned that Reno was a courier in the 23rd century, which is pretty cool. And there's a fun connection that one of our awesome patron and collective members made that we'll talk about with that. We're going to break it all down. But first, MC, we need to thank our amazing patron collective at the Ready Room level and above, please.
Thanks to Simon Steger, Jeff Reeve, Mariah Gossett, Tallulah, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santos, Ken Hui, Takako Nagumo, Fernanda Nogales, SMK, Laura Linderman, Colin Davidson, Jesco, Michael Graham, Emily and Travis, Gildara, Cassie, Naynar, Anar, Maggie Light, Tarana Killikis, Wayne Ritz, Skonovark, Sean, Jay Howard, Anna Yerdadon, Mehalani Uchiyama, Matt Harker, Davey Willett, Tara Poland, Slope 74, Rude Parakeet, Joshua Miller, Aaron W., Lanky Guy, Carl Angoli, Michael Kwan, Meredith, Caitlin, Elizabeth Dean, Kilt Check, Sedano 317, Puka Hair, 3 Fries Short, Kate Tippy, Tripping the Read Alert over a Pineapple, Sean Manning, Asher, CBF, Chris Waterman, RHCB, Martin Simpson, Seven Rasmussen, Norman Buckwald, David Prime Hildebrand, Taryn J. Robinson, Ensign Lex A. Pro, Eric the Red, Treble, and Jamie Roberts.
Woo! That might have been your best run through yet, MC.
I put it in another document and I made it really big and separated it so I could read it properly.
Hashtag goals. Well done. Good job. Also, a big thank you to our amazing, dedication. Our amazing Badmirals, our executive producer, Simon Steger, Commander Chris, the Chief Ernesto Castagna, Chris Waterman, and Tara Poland. You all rock. You keep the lights on. You keep Starfleet Command running. You keep the Breen at sub-zero temperatures. You rock. It's awesome. Let's get some quick news. We have a contest to finalize and do a giveaway for. So a big congrats to Sean McDermott, who won our Trek Long Island contest. The correct answer to which episode Kira disguised herself as a Breen was DS9 episode 5 of season 4, Indiscretion. So you win 2 weekend passes to Trek Long Island, which is awesome. So that's for Saturday and Sunday, 2 passes to that. We will get you in touch with all the right channels, all the people you need to know to get those passes. You will be going to Trek Long Island. Congrats. I didn't ask you guys if you had any news. Do you guys have anything? We have anything going on? Are we good? Good.
I hear Paramount Plus is a great way to watch Star Trek.
It is. We don't have to actually plug it on the pod. It's
I'm just hoping they will give me Paramount Plus.
I know.
It's the only place to watch Star Trek right now, no? You don't even have Paramount Plus in Canada, no?
No,
we
they
have
do.
Paramount Plus in Canada. Yeah.
Sorry.
But I think we can
I don't
also
know if you
still
have
watch
there.
Star Trek elsewhere
Yep.
in
Yeah.
Canada. I won't say where because Paramount Plus
Yeah.
is where you watch it.
Yeah, that. Just a real quick, we always love to give a shout out to our friends at Heroes and Villains. You can get 20% off your first order over there using our code STRANGE. And they have awesome t-shirts. I'm not wearing one tonight. I was wearing, so funny story. I was in the bathroom, not going to go too TMI into that, but there was a fly flying around and I took off my shirt and I pumped it up into a ball and I threw it to kill the fly. And so I couldn't wear that shirt anymore. But it got the job done.
What?
You
What?
just keep killing flies with very interesting things. Like yesterday, you killed one with a fork.
We have a fly problem in the house. Yeah, I killed one in here with a fork yesterday before the pod. Yeah.
You need to
I'm on the
Mr.
hunt.
Miyagi it and use chopsticks.
Maybe
And
next time.
welcome to Strange New Pod, a Star Trek podcast,
It's even stranger.
where Julian Brown can teach you how to kill flies. With
I will
a
teach
fork.
you. Yeah, I will teach you how to kill flies 10 different ways. I know how. So, can we use the progenitor tech to bring back the fly? Yum Yum Pod asks.
Too soon.
I'd rather not. No, let's not do that. Please, God, no. So yeah, go to heroesandvillains.com. 20% off your first order using their code search. You know they have a podcast now.
Really?
They have a podcast now, and I'm wondering if we should get their podcast people on our podcast to talk about all the awesome things that they do. We talked about this briefly too, but there's a secret little unused but now active social media handle, Heroes and Villains Canada. So hopefully maybe getting some Canadian Heroes and Villains going your way.
Julian,
Yes.
focus.
I'm plugging our partner, Giraffe.
We're buying new like Instagram handles. We're killing flies. Let's go. Listen, I'm happy. Welcome to the club.
I have more stories. Giraffe wants to go home tonight, apparently.
I'm home. I want to talk about the episode.
Well, let's do it then, Giraffe. Let's go. You want to talk about the episode? Let's talk about the episode. Oh, man. It is. We have no Stranger Loop tonight because there wasn't really anything to do a loop on, I feel. I don't know.
I'm getting slack on the chat. When I'm like talking about something else, you're unhappy. When I'm focused and on task, you're unhappy. Like, too hard with me.
I'm with the chat tonight. Oh, man. No, I'm kidding. We love you, Giraffe. It is our review of episode 507 of Star Trek Discovery, Erigah. Our order tonight will go, and this isn't because you've been making me go along. You are last tonight, Giraffe. MC, Eric, Giraffe, followed by myself. Let's get right into it. We're going to talk about negotiating with the Breen right off the bat. Oh, yeah, by the way, Tara says that Sela is just judging us all anyway. So, yeah.
She's always judging us.
It's a kink. Don't-
Yeah.
It's my bedroom. I want to say that.
Jeez.
So Sela is always watching.
She's always watching. She's always judging me. She's
Hey,
keeping me on my toes.
hey.
Hey.
A lot of this episode deals with Starfleet negotiating with the Breen, who just come up to Federation HQ in like a Death Star sized ship, not wanting to give up Moll and L'ak because they are now finally in Federation custody aboard Disco. Through this, we really get to see Tara Rosling shine in this episode. Not that, you know, she hasn't before, but like I really feel like she got to like act her ass off in this episode as Tarina. And again, Callum Keith Rennie just keeps getting like fire scenes with Michael and Vance and Tarina as Rainer. Like he just keeps stealing the show. What did we think about getting to see Tarina in her element? You guys could talk about the other people as well, but I want to kind of focus on Tarina. MC.
I mean, I've talked before about how much I love Tarina, and it was so nice. As much as I missed Saru, it was nice seeing her without Saru, because while when she first came in, she was very much, Vulcan president, but she did very quickly kind of get into her part is, her relationship with Saru. And now we get to see her being like a freaking diplomat and just badass at it, not taking any shit from anybody, and here for it. Like, you want that in a politician. And I feel like we haven't really gotten that level of politics on Discovery for a while. So it was really nice to see. And I mean, of course, Raynor is just always fucking amazing. He's been doing so well this season. And I did think that his connection with the Breen was interesting. So, he's killing it.
He really is killing it. I thought he was fucking fantastic this week. Eric?
I loved it. I love Tarina. Like I've said so many times on this podcast, one of my favorite things about Trek is when they do just like political talk, or like when it's mostly speech. And Tarina as the president, not the president. What is she again?
Well, no, she's president,
president of Vulcan.
Okay. Oh,
and she's tasked with speaking on behalf of the Federation because President Rillick is being sheltered in place on, I think, Teller Prime.
Something.
Yeah.
So they can kill that president, but you can kill the other one. It's Shell.
They'll kill both.
Wait, which one?
No, so like the one is sheltered in place, right?
Oh,
like,
right.
she's protected.
Yeah.
Well, the other one is like, it's fine.
Well, she was already there, to be fair.
It's when you get the vice president to come in to do something for the president.
For sure.
I wonder who the vice president is. We haven't met the vice president.
It's
Have there ever been a vice president in Star Trek?
Not that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Tarina is kind of like,
she's pretty much it, right?
De facto, yeah. Sorry, Eric.
Which is weird
it's
because Navarre only just came back into the Federation.
That's how good they are. Anyway, I loved how we brought back what she was like when we first introduced her. Like, she was very quick thinking and very diplomatic. But we also got the quippiness that we've gotten recently with like Saru, which I loved adding that just to her character in general. And again, Callum Keith Rennie displaying so many masterclass acting skills in just even before we find out what happened with him in the Breen, like him just having that underlying anger and like sadness towards what happened to his people is phenomenal. He's so good, and I wanted to see more of him. Oh, I want to see more of him. God, it's so good. That's it.
Yeah. Draft.
you say, how people think they're Mariner, but they're actually Boimler? Like, I think I'm Tarina, but I'm actually Commander Raynor.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah, like in my head, I'm like,
I
am posed, and I'm like, a great diplomat, which I'm not. But I like the fact that I like the fact that she lies. I always like the fact, there's always like this idea that Vulcans are like this or Vulcan like that, and I like Nivarian because they have that Vulcan-ness with a lot of possibilities because, she plays with the truth. I like that. And I like also that she's badass and like she's calling people out for thinking that she's not. And that scene, that moment where she tells Raynor, like, don't mistake my, what was it? Don't mistake my
something about being diplomatic for xenophobia or weakness.
For weakness.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And like calling him out also on xenophobia. Like, the guy is quoting you fucked when somebody's quoting the fucking Romulans. Like, nah.
From an actual DS9 episode from from actual DS9 episode. But like, like, do you know the Romulan saying,
Yeah, let's not go there.
Poor choice of words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I really
yeah.
like that scene. I'm a sucker for like Star Trek politics anyway, anytime. I could watch just like the liberation of the Federation Council or whatever for hours. So,
Yeah.
like, I'd be into it. If you like that, you should all read The Edge of Midnight, by the way. Like Moll 359 Project, which is like mostly that. No, I love that. I love that scene, and I'm glad we're back at the Federation HQ with the Admiral. He was there tense again, and he's fed me.
He always feeds me. He feeds me very well. Yeah, I really liked Tarina in this episode. I think I yelled at the TV when like the Breen is talking in Breen and the translator's like, he said this, and this. Like, no, this is actually what he said. Fuck on off right now. And let's actually get to negotiating. Like, she was having none of the bullshit. And I think that's cool because we were talking off mic a lot about how like, the Breen are kind of like another generic type of baddie who are just hell bent on like genocide and destruction. But I thought what was cool about what Tarina did is that she almost pulled the Vulcan hello with the Breen, like she used very strong posture. She used very strong language with them to show that they are just as strong as the Breen, or at least they think they're just as strong as the Breen. And I thought that was really cool. I think that Tara Rosling just destroyed this episode in the best possible way, like with her acting, her composure. It was Federation C-SPAN, Wayner says. I'd watch that.
I'd watch the shit out of it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I watch like I said I want a Rome HBO, but it's Romulus.
right.
Ooh, yeah.
I would watch so much of this. Like I'd be
same.
encyclopedic about it. The only thing, her wig was way off. I'm
Was
gonna
it?
say that.
It was. Yeah.
I don't know what was going on, but like her wigs was like off.
Huh. Weird.
I do have to say her being able to know Breen, that shows that, you shouldn't rely on the universal translator and you should actually learn languages.
That's why she's marrying Saru.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. And one of the other things that like I know that people are sad this season because we're missing a lot of characters. Like Saru has been gone for a bunch of episodes. Owo and Detmer, like I get it, but like I feel like we're also getting these excellent performances from people that haven't had the opportunity to have them. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's a very balanced and fair trade-off because like Tara Rosling got to shine. Even though he's new to the series, Callum Keith Renee got to shine. And that's kind of what I want to get into now. We get more of Raynor's backstory in this episode, and it's fucking brutal. This dude has lived a terrible. Eric's like, yes, brutality.
I'm doing that because you had the thumbs up bubble on
did
you.
I?
every time you have a butt, sometimes we'll all go like,
Yeah. Sometimes I get fireworks too. Where
I want
was
to be
I?
the Fallout guy.
So his planet was like almost completely destroyed by Primarch Tahal of the Breen, which later helps massively during Tarina's negotiations with them. What do we think about this, right? And Raynor's feelings towards the Breen, a little bit of racism there, xenophobia. I feel like also replicating what we know about like Mbenga and Ortegas in Strange New Worlds and like their feelings towards the Klingons. Like how do you guys feel about that and kind of that little bit of a connection, MC?
Well, I mean, I feel like it's not like it was original to Mbenga and Ortegas.
No,
I mean,
it's
you've got
not,
the same
but
thing. You've got the same thing with like Worf and the Romulans, and even Michael and the Klingons, which she mentions in this episode.
Yeah.
It's kind of something that happens with trauma, which so many of our characters are just rife with trauma, and it makes sense to Raynor's character that this has happened, because I mean he seems like something. Well, I mean, we've already known that terrible things has happened in his life, and it makes sense that more terrible things have happened. And he's somebody who, was around during the burn, which is, this terrible time where terrible things were happening to planets. And so it makes sense. And the Breen, I mean, like, yes, we were talking off mic about how the Breen are kind of, have always been genocidal and have very little nuance to them. But, they've always been very genocidal and destructive. Like, they're the only species we know from the Dominion that have not changed yet, because Cardassia was in the Dominion and is obviously part of the Federation now, and we have no idea what happened to the founders. So, I mean, they're still exactly the same as they were back in the 24th century. I mean, even worse, because they seem to have more power now.
They have more power, and they're, I think, more genocidal because there's a power vacuum with their emperor being dead. So everybody's just fucking killing everybody.
Yeah, so it totally makes sense to me. And I did not really connect it to Mbenga and Ortegas because it is something that I could name a character from every Trek show that has the same kind of story going
Kira.
on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cisco. I was going to say
Yeah,
that.
Cisco. Yeah.
Yep. Well, go ahead, Eric.
No, I was going to say, like, I love that Raynor took something so tragic and used it to their advantage. And it really, like, when I saw the episode, I thought of the Bajorans in Cardassia, right, during DS9, because DS9 is my favorite. Not Enterprise, DS9. But the Raynor walking the line of, how far to go, and then Michael sort of bringing him back. I love their play together and how she tried to understand, like, you know what, I did read your backstory. I know what happened to your planet. Like, maybe we can use this together. Like, we can work together. I love how much they work well together. And I love that she cares enough to, try and figure out why her first officer is so aggro towards all the Breen. And, it worked to their advantage.
Yeah. Giraffe?
Well, now that Eric has lost all faith of the heart.
It took a long road.
Get off my bridge.
Yeah, I'm kind of, it always makes me laugh that everybody in Star Trek has trauma. Everybody lost a parent, everybody lost their family, their planet exploded. Like, take Stranger World, every single one of them. Like, if your kid wants to be in Starfleet, I don't know, like, beware, something bad is going to happen to you.
Yeah.
It's good to the episode. It explains a lot of things about him and what he's doing and why he's doing it. But, it's like all the trauma all the time. And here it serves the situation. But, I would like sometime people to know things because it's their job. Like,
that's fair.
For example, again, if you've read, I forgot the name of the book. With Second Self. With Raffi knows things because that's her job to know things. And she's been to places that were occupied and so on. So she knows what's going on. She knows the people in the game. She knows she has connections. And it's kind of like always the thing, like, oh, I know about these things because they murder all my family. Sure. To be honest, it was that or another way. He acted the shit out of it. It was really, really good. The scene was perfect. It was well written and all that. But I'm going to tell you that every single new person they're going to introduce is going to be, my parents were murdered. Like, okay.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, because STMCDE1701 on the chat, I like to point someone made on Reddit about Raynor being a shadow mirror of season 1 Michael. I'm pretty sure that Sneakwa said that in our interview with her. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. So that trauma is also there. The biggest thing that I want to say about this is kind of going off what MC and Eric said a little bit. Like, they just have, like, there's a really strong relationship there, and it's gotten stronger every single episode. And I really, because I wasn't sure how well Raynor was going to respect Michael's chain of command, because he got fired, right? He was a captain, and then is definitely taking a demotion. No, he got fired, and then remember, he's like, Vance told me to take an early retirement.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, who got a thumbs up now?
You did.
You. It's always
Again,
you.
I didn't even have my thumb up.
It's you.
I'm just gonna have it in the background like this for now on. I haven't figured out how to turn it off. I have the setting off for it. So
It's under reaction, recognize hand gestures.
I'm gonna keep it because I like it and it's my thing.
I'm going to turn mine on then.
Do it. But I no, really, like every episode that relationship's gotten stronger, and he's done a great job, like really respecting that she is the captain. Like when she's like, dude, get out of the room. Like he respects that. He doesn't put up a fight when she's talking to him and she, you know, she's very stern, is like dismissed. He goes, like, he knows when he's fucked up. He apologizes, but he's also like very set in his way still. Like he's such a dynamic character, and it sucks that this is all we're going to get of him. Like, I hate it. I hate it. He was so good in this episode.
There's nothing like trauma bonding.
Nothing like trauma bonding, baby. That's right. It turns out at my work, like everybody's mom is dead. Like my mom, like all my boss's moms, like we all like, oh, we're all in the dead moms club. Cool.
Oh my
God.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's Mother's Day this weekend. Let's go.
I know.
Yay.
Happy
Trauma
Mother's
bonding,
Day.
baby. Let's go. Happy Mother's Day. Not to bring the mood down. Let's move on to some adventures with Jet Reno, right? Turns out Jet used to be a courier back in the 23rd century. You know, they said like book runner, but she was a courier. Like she was 100% a courier. She bartended a bit too, came up with the 7 of limes. By the way, you can go on our socials and get the recipe for that right now. It was delicious. Basically was still just the badass that we always have known her to be, right? What do we think about her scenes with Adira and Tilly trying to figure out where the book was to help to get to the next clue? And then we'll talk about the next part after that. MC.
I love this because I've always loved Jet Reno, and I have such a huge crush on Dignataro. And it was really nice actually seeing her get to have some development, even if it was like not like super like deep. It was just, you know, more backstory for her, because for the most part, she's just been kind of snarking with Stamets, which is great. But I liked seeing this and her doing a billion things that seems so on brand for her. I was really happy with Adira saying, so you got around, and then it's like, oh, I didn't mean it like that, and Jet's like, no, like that. And that just made me, I was like, oh, I'm so happy about that, but also I'm teased because let's see some of that lesbian getting around. Like, yeah. It's time. Like her I'm sorry, her wife has been dead for several years now. She can move on. And we just need more queer representation. So yeah, no, was just absolutely here for just Jet being here. And it was super funny and it worked for me.
Nice. Eric?
Was it last season where every episode I said, where's Jet Reno?
It was, and you were like refusing to come back, right?
Yeah, I was sad. I was just sad. No, I didn't. Yeah. I don't do that. I'm Canadian. The
lies.
I just loved having her back and having her back for more than 5 seconds. Like it's wonderful. She's a mystery now, even more. Like they keep on adding more to the mystery of her, and it just makes me want more of her. And then we won't get more of her. I know it. There's only like 3 episodes left. This is her big thing for the rest of the season.
They need to do the Dos Equis commercials with Jet Reno. Like, she is the most interesting woman in the world.
or like the Star Wars Brazil, where she just randomly has like a commercial in the middle of it.
Yeah. Eric, I remember what you did last season with Reno. It's when we were still rating episodes, and you took a point off automatically for Reno not being.
You're right. I did do that.
Yep.
This episode gets an extra point. Not that we do that anymore. Anyway, no. They just kept on adding more cool things to her. I love that she helped and everything, but they keep on adding more things to her backstory, and she's not a character that they explore. So I'm just like, I want more. I want more. That's all this did. I love seeing her, but I just now want more.
Yeah.
Get Reno comic when?
Yeah, seriously, that they could do.
Get Reno podcast.
Great, yeah.
Eric the Red, she is the most interesting engineer in the galaxy. Yes, indeed. Giraffe.
Yeah, I think I don't want an explanation because I think it's so whack like this that, just imagining her like doing random things, it's kind of a bit, and I'm here for it. And I was saying before the pod, I'm like 1000% that person, 1000% that person. Like people were like, "Oh, well, how do you know that? Oh, I used to be an archaeologist. How do you do that? Oh, I used to live there. Oh, I used to bartend. Oh, I used to do that." And like, I don't know.
She started like Pelia,
lives,
right?
Huh?
She started like Pelia from Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. But you don't have to be like an eternal being to
That's
have
true.
several lives. Like, you're not a tree. You can move. For real. Like, if I were living in the 19th century, would I be that person that just like moved to the next city and have a new name? And I'm a totally different new person.
I'm
5
so
different
sorry.
families, But no, I like that she's part of the plot in this one, because last time she was like here, but she was like, I don't know, giving like advice to Stammet. Like, I don't know. I like when she's like part of the what is going on, and she's also like through the whole time like doing random shit, and I'm here for that. It's very Scotty energy, like the banging on things all the time. Like
We got to prepare for the Breen.
Yeah, you gotta prepare for the Breen. Love Jet Reno. I would like her to be more in the action.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Agreed. I have nothing else I could add to that, and I actually really want to talk about the next part of this, so we will. One of our awesome Patron Collective members, Eric the Red, who's also in the chat tonight, came up with this awesome theory. When it gets brought up that Reno did work as a book smuggler / courier, did anyone else think that she was running books for Pelia?
That's such a good idea.
Like,
That's
they have to be, and she's an engineer, right? Like, did Pelia like give her books to smuggle and also train her to be an engineer? Because that
Wasn't
seems far
Celia
too
already
coincidence.
an engineer when she was an engineer?
Yeah,
Because she was teaching at the academy, so she was most probably at the academy while Jet Reno was an engineer.
I feel like Jet joined Starfleet late though in her career.
Yeah, but like she's at the binary stars, right?
Jet or
Jet Reno.
yes,
Yeah.
no,
She's at the binary. Her
no,
ship gets blown up by
it
the
gets
Klingons.
blown up during a skirmish, not during binary stars.
Yeah, but it's like that time.
Yeah,
like
okay,
that time frame.
fair.
Yeah.
And
And Pelia, we know she was teaching in the academy for so long that crew members on the Enterprise had her as a teacher.
Okay.
So maybe side hustle, 1000%. I can see that.
I mean, Pelia, considering all of the paintings she has in her quarters, absolutely had a side hustle going on.
Yeah.
Right, like maybe didn't train Reno to be an engineer, but like I bet you even while Pelia was at the academy was given books to Reno to like smuggle before Reno joined Starfleet.
And then she dated her student.
Oh, we're going back to that, huh,
disappointed in
dude?
you. So disappointed in
It
you.
was just for you.
Are you f***ing kidding me?
Oh boy. I love the theory. I'd love to see like a buddy cop movie with those two or something. Or
Short
just
tracks, bring back.
bring back
Oh my
short
God,
tracks.
yes, please.
That'd be a perfect short track, like 10-10.
I
I'd
can
watch
only hope
15
that
minutes of this.
Non and Jet were rowdy students for Pelia from Yum Yum Pod. Oh man, I love it. Jet was so good. She was so great in this episode. So let's move on. Paul and Book end up working together because Book just doesn't know what to do with himself this season. It's unfortunately a little bit true. I just needed to say that out loud. I feel like they did not quite. We're 7 episodes in. I think you could say this now. Didn't quite know what to do with Book this season besides the Moll Cleveland Booker connection, and breaking like him and Michael up immediately takes that out of the equation, which we're 7 episodes in and they're not back together and I'm screaming. It's a different podcast. So the two work together in this episode to try and figure out where the next clue is. Stamets, knowing that it's a Betazoid in origin. By the way, Jorg on Twitter, who always is finding all the cool shit in all the Star Trek episodes, really pointed out that it was cool how much they showed like Beta Zed's logo throughout the episode, like and like language and stuff. So I thought that was really neat. So knowing that it's Betazoid in origin, he asks Book to try and connect to it through his empathic abilities, which he does. And that leads to the clue being in like a roaming library that's currently in the Badlands. Thoughts? Like, I feel like we've mentioned DS9 twice now. This is another connection to DS9. Thoughts on, like, there have been like 10 or so connections to DS9 this season, MC.
I mean, there's 2 in this episode because there's also the talking about Culber with the he brings up files on the Dominion War.
Yep. That's 3 then because of the Romulan never turn your back on a on a Breen.
Which just goes, DS9 when? Show us the 32nd century DS9. But yeah, no, I mean, I like this. I do think, like you said, they don't really quite know what to do with Book this season. Like, they want to keep him around because, David Ajala is wonderful and he's wonderful to see on screen, but they're kind of well, yes, but they're flailing a little bit on what to do with his character. So it's like, we need to keep you relevant to the episode. And I mean, I guess like the whole empathy thing did work because, that's like the one thing we know about the Beta Zeds, is, that's their hat, the fact that they're telepathic / empathic. And let's face it, because Troy is our kind of touchstone for Betazoids, we mostly think of them as empathic rather than telepathic. So connecting that with Book, with what we've seen of him so far, it works. And yeah, I live for connections to Deep Space Nine, but it's going to make me sad when they don't do anything with it.
It would be like doing a show where you talk about Janeway for a whole season and then don't show Janeway.
Yeah.
Oh, they would never do that.
I feel like there's a season of television that did that recently.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
Everything that MC said, I loved the fact that this is the one thing they got Book to do that seemed neat with his powers. Him working with Stamets, they've worked together before. This just seemed like another thing for him to do. Yeah, it does seem like they don't really know what to do with Buck, unfortunately, this season. But they're doing what they can. I don't know. I'm just thinking about the whole Moll thing, and it bothers me that that's his whole reason for being this season. But
we're going to talk about that later.
But it's going to be okay because next week when we find out that the library is actually DS9, it's going to be cool, right?
Still a fascist eyesore. I didn't, and we are doing so well on this. Is going to maybe be our shortest show ever, so I'm going to add another talking point because we need to talk about it, and I forgot to put it in. Hey, I skipped you. It's a podcast. Go ahead. That's for being mean to me earlier.
At least Book is still here. He's not like randomly meeting Will Wheaton and like being sent into the nothingness. So,
that's fair.
I like that.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that he is mind melding or whatever he's doing with an object because that's such a TOS bullshit. Like Spock mind melding with
melts with
a wall, with a door, with random stuff he finds. And I'm like, this is so TOS coded that like they're just mind melding with an object. I was like, yes, nonsense. Like I
immediately went Quinlan Voss from Star Wars.
Like in the what is it? It's in Star Wars where they can see the story of an object, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened with an object and so on. Yeah, that made me think of that too. But I saw people on Twitter being like, well, it's not possible. The object doesn't have a mind. I was like, it's Star Trek.
No, and it's totally possible. Like everything.
Object memory.
Object memory, baby.
Sure.
Let's go.
So I was like, yeah, the object is linked. Like the explanation made no sense, but I was here for that. I like the fact that people were complaining and listening and DS9 didn't get anything in New Trek, and then we get a full like
Full fucking
full
season.
season of Discovery around like TNG and DS9, and I was like, okay, why not? The library is really hinting my like piquing my interest because I always like these weird like recipient of knowledge that you have in Star Trek between the Daystrom Institute or Memory Alpha in TOS with Atos, A to Z, which I love that name. I think it's so brilliant. And also, I was talking about before the podcast, but in the episode Masks, if they're just going through like all the shitty episode of a TNG, so we've done we've done The Chase, we've done Who Watches the Watchers, and like I'm like, are they going to Masks? Because Masks start because an archaeologist found a random library like that is lost and going from point to point that is like holding knowledge, and they like opened it with no like gloves basically, and then everybody gets like whacked into like my saga is working, and I'm like, please turn Discovery in like an ancient kingdom with like weird mask. I'm like,
Oh my god, imagine if they do that and like they read logs of like the Cerritos going through this too and mention Carol.
Oh my God.
I'd
I'm here for
die.
this.
With lymph.
I'm here for this. So yeah, and we made like so many of like these weird one episodes of like information, so they're like things roaming that have like, I mean, we have in Discovery we have the sphere like Zora basically is also one of those things that just collect knowledge. In Enterprise there's like this episode that they never talked again about like this weird like gas station that like can repair every single ships
Oh yeah.
and like runs on people.
Oh yeah.
It's
I remember that. Yeah.
I fucking
Yeah,
love that episode. It's so
right,
bad.
it's a
It's
good
so
episode,
weird.
and then they like never talk about it anymore. In Voyager, they like encountered like this huge like like what is it, like orbs and so on, they're like counting knowledge also, and they don't know what it is. And in Enterprise again, like Hoshi get kidnapped by a weird guy that holds like a lot of knowledge that on planet is like Beauty and the Beast, but it's bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
So I feel like Star Trek like keeps doing like these one episodes about people putting knowledge in things and like shipping it into the nothing. And I'm very happy that we may get to see it, I suppose, in episode 8.
I think yeah.
I've not watched episode 8, like full
Same.
extent, so I don't know.
Yep.
But
DS9.
yeah,
I hate you.
DS9. But I like the idea that they, you know, that's what we did with also like, you know, the message we sent into like the business card that we send to whoever the hell is out there, which is a bad idea, like with the coordinates of Earth and like,
Yeah. And the golden record, yeah.
yeah, and I kind of like that like ID, so I'm happy Discovery is going there.
Yeah, same. STMC wrote, I'll throw out there that the writer's not knowing what to do with Book accidentally works in a meta kind of way. Book doesn't quite know what to do with himself either, which, yeah, I think that actually makes sense. Works for me. One thing that I didn't have on here that we do need to talk about is Book also does have something else that goes on, and that's a reunion with Non, who's back as a security detail for Moll and L'ak, and they have a very, like, trepidatious reunion because Non's like, last time you and I saw each other, you kind of fired on Discovery, you shot an illegal weapon into the what do you call it, the DMA. The DMA, it was the DMA. Yeah, and then so we get that, and then later they have that scene where, like, you know, she's like, maybe I was wrong about you. What did you think about their reunion, and also kind of just like Non has become like full Starfleet intelligence security? I think that's kind of a really cool path trajectory for her. MC.
I was just glad to have Non back because I like Non a lot. And I mean, her interaction with Book was nice because it's nice for somebody to not really have forgiven him for what happened, because I mean, everybody on Discovery, I mean, of course, have been dealing with Book for, you know, a while, so they're all very cool with him, but Non hasn't. And it's like, you did like some terrible things last season, and, you know, I am not going to forget it right away. And honestly, I would have been fine with her still being trepidatious about him, because that fits Non's character, I think. and it especially fits her job. I mean, she doesn't have to be like outright hostile to him, but I would have been fine with the, you know what, we're okay, but also we're not okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Book ended up going to her first when he was like, "I know where Moll is." Like that was a good addition to that. Like it showed that he could work with her and like he trusts her enough and he knows that she's there to do a good job. Really, all I really want is to see her more this season. I want her to be part of the crew, like for the last 3 episodes, and I hope that's what we get.
Yeah. Trev?
I want to know what happened in between. Like, they just like send that character like,
Short treks.
like
I feel like she does
Short
directive
tracks.
bullshit. Like she said that, like she's doing a lot of like the deep like Black Ops shit for Starfleet. In
She's
season 4.
Section 31.
Yeah.
Yeah, she might be Section 31.
but she left with like that like seed thing, no?
She did the seed in season 3, and then she came back in season 4 to basically be the
Oh yeah.
the
Well,
button if Michael wouldn't kill Book because she joined Starfleet Intelligence.
Yeah, I want to know what happened with the seed thing again. Like, I want to know more about other people. Yeah, I like the character. I think like she's a straight shooter, and you know what you're gonna get, and I like that. And she's a badass. And that fighting scene was so good.
It was so good.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice. Matt Harker writes he doesn't have to be redeemed just because Burnham said so. He did really grievous things. I don't agree. I don't think that he did grievous things. I think Tarka did grievous things and lied to Book a lot. I think that Book is definitely somewhat complicit in all of it.
He's an accessory.
He's an accessory, but like I don't think that he did those grievous things. Like he didn't shoot the photon torpedoes. He didn't shoot off this isolated weapons. Like he was going
remember
to
what
stand
we
down.
were saying. If you're here, you're guilty.
No, I know, but
You didn't stop something terrible from happening.
I know. I'm on Team Book with this though. No, it was great to see Non back. I also liked that like Michael was gonna do the Michael thing and like go run after Moll because Michael always wants to do everything, and Non's like, with respect, she's my prisoner, I'll go get her, and she does, which is it was good, and Book and them have that moment. So speaking of, let's move on to Moll and L'ak and their marriage apparently. So the big spoiler for this episode, L'ak straight up croaks. He dead. Killed himself by accident. Maybe not by accident, but he kills himself. And the Breen are about to declare war on the Federation because it happened on their ship. And they're like, our deal's bust. Like, he's dead. I need him to like, ascend to the Emperor ship or whatever. But Moll reveals that her and L'ak are married. So she's, I guess, does that make her next in line? I like it's very confusing how like all of a sudden she's like very, very, very important. So despite and we're gonna get to this. So despite massive objections from Book, the Federation give Moll to the Breen. So what did we think about that revelation? Right, Locke's death and the possibility, this weird possibility of bringing him back with a progenitor tech, which I fucking hate. I hate the idea of this, but also the politics of Moll and L'ak being married. MC.
I hate almost everything about this, to be honest. And this goes back to, I think, the first episode of this season, when I was talking about the introduction of Moll and L'ak. And I was very hesitant about, or whichever episode that Moll's backstory came out in. I don't know if that was episode 1 or it was very early on, but I was very hesitant about it because it seemed to me like Moll was being defined by her relationships with men. And we're on episode 7 now, and I don't feel like that's changed at all. In fact, it's gotten even, deeper. We've had some discussion of her backstory, all through the lens of Book talking about it in relation to her father, not so much about her herself. We had an entire episode with flashbacks of L'ak, and now she's being defined by being Locke's wife. not really here for that. And also her entire motivation is, I want to be with L'ak. I'm going to, and I honestly think they are going to fucking bring L'ak back, and it's going to serve as some sort of redemption for her. Like she's going to help out the Federation, and then he's going to come back, and I hate it, and I just, ugh.
Yeah. Eric?
I hate all of this as well. I hate it so much. I hated that he accidentally Romeo'd himself. Like
he totally fucking Romeo'd himself.
He
I
did.
said that from episode 1. They're Romeo and Juliet.
I don't like it. I don't like that now it just seems like anything she does is just for him. Like MC said, like her motivation is just him now. And even when we found out about the Erigah, I was just like, okay. I guess that's... I like the idea of them just... Like earlier on in the season, when we thought they were just doing shit because they were having fun and like causing chaos, like that was so cool. But now it's just them like, I don't know. I don't like it. And it wouldn't be Star Trek if it didn't have some sort of fucking Genesis machine, right? So they're gonna bring him back. And I love the actor who plays L'ak. He's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he has to fix this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah.
An Expense alumni.
Yep.
From The
Yeah,
Expanse.
yeah.
He's like an everything alumni. That dude has legitimately been in everything. Every video game you've played, a side character in every show you watch. He's been everywhere.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
His voice is incredible.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Draft.
don't know.
That escalated quickly. I was like, yeah, it's like these
Good
like,
episode. Yeah.
you were like, well, we're gonna retire on Risa. Like, I was here for this. I was here for I was here for like the stupid chaos. Like I understand like being like, stupidly in love with somebody, but like when it's your like, ride or die, I like that dynamic. Like it's ride or die, you're like together in for like better and for worse. And I don't have a problem with that dynamic. The problem is that they make it L'ak problem and not both of them problem.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, she did damsel in distress. Like, they started so well. And now I'm just like, I'm not really interested in that whole like Breen thing. I'm like, oh, so he's a prince. And now they need the prince to be like, okay. And I'm like, but he escaped because he didn't want to be a prince. Boo-hoo, first world problems. And then they're like, oh, but now we're married and that changed everything. Like, I was like watching, like I used to watch like shows when I was 8 and being like, I have no idea how it makes any sense, but sure.
It has shades of the Emerald Chain. Like, how it became really important right at the end of that season?
Oh, yeah.
And we're just like,
yeah.
fuck, this? Like, that's what it feels like now.
It escalated quickly. Like, I didn't need this to be a thing. Like, I was here for like, let's find a clue, and they're trying to go faster than us, But I mean, I was sad that he died because like I kind of liked the duo. I would have rather have these two and not the Breen.
Yeah.
And but now, yeah. So like she's going with the Breen, and because she has a tattoo. And if I had to explain that to somebody who didn't watch the episode, I was like, I don't know. Like now they want her because she knows, and I'm like, she knows shit nothing. Like,
she knows nothing. Yeah. That's why this is really bothersome. It's super bothersome.
Or it's a trick. She's going there because she has something up her sleeve, and she's baiting them to like blow up the whole thing. But I'm like,
I was confused by them saying they could track Discovery through the spore drive. Like, is that
seems unlikely?
Yeah, like is that
no?
a thing?
She said they would find her position at one point or another. Like they can scan and like send probe, and like mostly they have ship everywhere.
Yeah.
Like we established that the Breen are like everywhere. I think they should bring in the Gorns and see what up.
Oh, dude, right.
I actually have a theory as to why they've done this whole thing with Moll, and it's again, fuck, I hate this. Because they want, they need to find something for Book to do, so they're going to set up conflict where he's just like, we need to save Moll, and everybody else is like, but did we really?
MC.
Right.
There's no conflict in Star Trek.
No conflict, right? Gene's vision.
So they'll have a tiff.
Tara wrote they don't want her. They're forced to take her because she's his wife, like an honor Breen rule thing. And that's the thing that bothers me the most, because this is so not like everything we know about the Breen from DS9, even lower decks, and what we've learned this season, like especially this Primarch, like his uncle. I call bullshit on the whole thing. Him looking at that tattoo would make him destroy Federation HQ and Discovery right there. Like, I don't buy that they'd want her just because she like straight up lied about knowing something. Like, I just don't buy it. I don't buy it.
They keep adding rules. They keep adding. It's like Calvin Ball, you know.
Well, right.
They keep adding like rules, and you're like, oh, but like now it's a point.
But it's like,
no,
it's an instant contradiction of everything that we've ever known about the Breen in like a span of 30 seconds. And like, dude, exactly what you're saying. Like, he has been so good as L'ak, and the way he just like unceremoniously dies in this episode is really like,
But there's things that we don't know about, and they keep saying that. That's why I'm like hinting at that. They keep saying that they don't know Breen anatomy. They don't understand how physiology. How they don't understand how they function. Like, they're liquid, but there can be solid, and I wonder, like, if there's a thing that like she became him, or like, so I don't know. I think they're gonna just add like one more rule and out of the left field, and we're gonna be, oh, that's why she's important, or he's not dead, because nobody's truly dead in Star Trek ever.
No,
and they send their own doctor and be like, that guy is dead.
Narissa,
like,
what?
Really dead?
Why didn't they put him in like a transporter signal? Like,
yeah, right. Like, put him in the pattern buffer.
Because
like,
they never do that.
Because it's Star Trek.
They did it
and
last season.
They use it only when like it's convenient. Remember, TOS forgot they had like transporter, and then they forgot they had shuttles. Like, it depends.
Yeah.
fair.
Star Trek, we love you. Final thoughts on this episode. We'll go in reverse order. Eric. Draft. I skipped you twice this week.
Damn.
Yes. That's because you were so mean to me earlier.
I did not dislike it. It's a good bottle episode. The problem is that they give us new information that I don't understand, and maybe it will get better with number 8. I feel it's like one of these episodes that I won't find it like perfect and super good, but I will find that it makes sense better once I finish the season.
Yeah. Fair.
I'm just disappointed with the choices, but it was a good episode. Like, there was good politics. It was like suspense. I was sad that he died. Yeah. I want to see. Eric definitely wants to see 8 now. Like, that really pumped me for number 8. So
yeah.
Yep.
And you get to see DS9. So cool.
I
know. Overall, I like the episode. I like the politics stuff. I always love the Star Trek politics. I hated that whole thing at the end, like everyone else. This doesn't seem like an episode I just go out and rewatch, but there are some things that I like about it. I thought the ships were very pretty and big. And then
they didn't tell us which ship arrived. They're like, it's 4 Starfleet ships. I was like, which one?
One of them was the Constitution, the new Constitution. I think it's called the. Starts with a C.
Enterprise. It's
Another Enterprise.
Another Enterprise.
What they
Starts
needed
with a C. I can't remember the name of it, though.
What they needed was Voyager to come back so Owo and Detmer could join back with Disco.
Yeah.
No, it's Nielsen who's on Voyager.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, wait, where are they?
Was that Gandalf or was it Skywalker?
And Detmer are like at the museum.
They're on
My
the
cat
Enterprise.
is that was Skywalker.
Nice.
Yeah.
Your turn, by the way, MC.
Oh, my turn.
Unless you weren't done, Eric. I'm sorry.
No, I'm good. DS9.
I mean, with my feelings on this episode, I'd much rather talk about my cat. No, I mean, I like the Jet Reno stuff, and other than that,
Turina stuff. Turina was good.
the Tarina,
Tarina's
Jet
good.
Reno and Tarina. Like, this is good stuff. I am here for this stuff, but the Moll and L'ak stuff. I mean, just I'm struggling with this season because I have not found really anything with them terribly compelling. And I kind of had my feelings about, or my fears about what they were going to do with Moll in particular. and they've not alleviated those at all throughout the entire season. So and we're getting so close to the end, and I'm not really feeling it.
It's weird because at the beginning of the season, it felt like Indy versus Belloc, right? There was a chase to the end, and then it sort of just died the last couple episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was actually Yum Yum Pod's question. Like, other than hating it, how does this episode make you feel about the show's handling of the progenitors? And I would answer that being like, they haven't. Like, we're in a situation where we're 3 episodes from the finale, and
I like the episodes better the second half, to be honest.
I would agree with that.
The first episodes were like so like spiritual, the gods. The gods are talking to us. We're gonna see the gods. And I'm like, ugh. Now that it shifted and they just put all that things on Culber, was like, oh, we gotta see the god. I'm like, that's only one of them. I can't handle that much. Like, if all of them are doing this, I can't. But like, now that it's more about, like, what are we doing? How are we gonna handle that? And now I think the Breen has just added one thing that, before they were like, maybe we're not good at like handling. Maybe we're not the good ones. I was like, well, it's still better than the Breens. So I think it's adding some like dimension to why they would want to find the progenitor technology, because last episode they were like, well, maybe we should not. They were like seriously considering maybe we should not find that thing. Maybe we're not like the person to find that thing. And now I feel the Breen and Moll is just adding a dimension that makes the finding of that thing truly necessary now. And I will buy this a little bit more than just the gods have spoken to us. We're gonna know the secret of life and death. Now that, let's be honest, you'd rather have the Federation have that thing than the Breen.
I'd rather no one have it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
there's
now
that.
they both have the way to find it, and the Breen are gonna find it. The Federation was like low key, like maybe we should not find it. So I feel like it's always the thing is like, who would you rather be, like the person with the biggest stick?
Well, right.
Like the absolutely insane person who murdered a lot of people already, or like your pal who like was good
Every
to
now
you.
and then makes some poor decisions.
You're like, maybe that guy. It's like the guy who drives everybody. Like, who would you prefer have driving the car? So I do think that maybe it's clunky, but it adds an important dimension for me, because now I'm like, yeah, I want them to find that technology before the Breen. Like,
Yeah.
If they really have to. But I do think they, with Whistle Speak, they kind of like shifted the tone of the episodes so far in a way that I prefer.
Yeah. ST McD wrote, they messaged me on Discord to how to pronounce their YouTube name. Thank God. The final hiding spot is a diner with Michael Shanks. I like this.
The progenitor tech from Erigah. The progenitor tech is going to end up crafted up and stored in some secret warehouse in Federation space.
Yep, with the Ark of Covenant.
Yeah, Ark of the Covenant.
1000%. 1000%. That's where they're gonna find it, in a Starfleet warehouse.
It belongs in a museum.
No, you know where
like
it's going to be?
some Cerritos crate with like dust and stuff.
It's going to be on that. That's going to be where the final clue is, because they always have to bring it back to the Enterprise D. It's going to come back to TNG all the way. God, I would quit. Okay. My final thoughts. I like this episode. I didn't like the Moll and L'ak stuff at the end, even though I liked the Moll and L'ak stuff throughout the whole episode until the very end. The politics were great. The Rayner stuff was great. This is overall a very good episode, but damn, we were making these complaints when there were 13 episode seasons and 15 episode seasons, and now we're at 10 episode seasons. There's 3 left, and I have no idea where the fuck it's going. And
Cool.
I'm nervous because this is Disco's kryptonite. They don't stick the landing. It's true.
Yeah, come on,
Season
Dra.
2?
Season 2 stuck the landing.
That was 3 seasons ago.
Season 1,
Yeah.
I like the season 1 finale, but I'd still say that season didn't stick the landing.
I agree.
Season 3, the last said I can't even speak. It makes me so
The
mad.
less said, the better.
The less said about the last 3 episodes of that season, the better. Season 4, like you were getting nervous. Remember when we had Baby Dust Planet, and you're like, "Where the fuck are we going?" Like, come on.
Listen, like that baby dust was dumb. It was stupid, and I will never, like, I will forever find that it was absolutely stupid. Like the same way where like they're like, we need to all get together, like to understand that like these unknown like creature that are trying to communicate with us. Let's bring like crew, and they bring only humans. Like they were like choices that were so dumb, but like the overall idea of season 4, I like.
It was a good season.
Yeah.
It was a good season.
I love what Tara P wrote. Is that the progenitor tech will be at Warehouse 13 and Jane Latimer will be there guarding it.
We love her.
I love Jane Latimer.
Pod. Yes,
Love it.
You know who
Hilo
played her,
Six
right?
Season 4 sucked the landing, in my opinion.
Have
Who
you
played who?
Who played Jane Latimer?
I never watched Warehouse 13. Don't do that.
Maybe a certain Janeway actor played her.
Okay, Mulgrew?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Love it. Okay, let's get to the subspace to pull and mailbag.
Lieutenant Christopher, open a channel.
Channel's open.
MC, I'm giving you the poll because you went and got the results. So take the poll, please.
We asked Truck Twitter what they thought about episode 507 Erigah, and this is what they had to say. 47.6% said yum yum. 23.8% said Breen it on. 23.8% said it's not easy being Breen. And 4.8% said Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero wins.
it's not easy being
It's
Breen.
not easy being Breen. Oh, man. What was our order tonight? I'm already lost. Eric, can you take Matt Harker's, please?
For sure. Matt Harker wrote, Erigah was a good ride. From the quiet steel of Tirena to Raymer's simmering rage, this episode almost didn't disappoint. I guess Oo and Detmer must still be on their road trip.
Honeymoon.
Honeymoon.
Yeah.
Reno, as a book smuggler who got around, must have slipped past Starfleet background checks. I would mourn L'ak, except we know he'll be brought back by the progenitor tech, and I couldn't end this mailbag without commenting on Moll and Non's fight scene. Yum yum. Thanks, Teach. 8 out of 10 for me.
About Reno, what was the line? Background checks. Starfleet doesn't do background checks.
We know this.
we know this.
It's
They
so
don't do
bad.
background checks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Giraffe, can you take Eric the Reds, please?
Joel and True, Eric. Eric
Hey.
the Red wrote, going to be a wild ride to bring this season and series to a conclusion.
Get off my bridge.
Thank you. This was a great episode. We learned a little more about the Breen, or at least Breen politics of this century. The clue being a library card was a clever idea, as is a flying neutral cultural library. Great Rayner moments, especially when he tells Burnham to his people. Moll and L'ak screwing up their escape plan, leading to his death, feels completely in character. Once again, we see some great Vulcan diplomacy with Tirena. Definitely feels like we're headed to a climatic race between Disco and the Breen.
Indeed. I will take Yum Yum Pods, who wrote a good section of the crew has been missing this season, including Saru, which was very noticeable in this episode. But Nan is back, baby! I hope that Nan returns again and says Yum Yum perhaps is the final line of the show. Everyone on Discovery knows Kung Fu, and I did laugh a lot at how Maul nearly got taken out by Hugh. She clearly doesn't know how shredded Wilson Cruz is. It seems like those progenitors did make tech that gave people godlike powers, which may include raising the dead, which just further adds to my frustration that the crew hasn't really been that critical of this during this season. Well said. Back to you, MC. Can you take Chris's, please?
Chris wrote, I enjoyed this episode, though. I thought it did well playing with how we learn more about Moll and L'ak. I hated the fight scene, though. Was Lakitu was up there swinging that camera around? Is that a Mario reference?
That is a Mario reference. Mario Kart.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, I'm trying to be less critical since they didn't know what was that this was the last season, and I can see interesting changes they were making to continue to moving forward. 6 out of 10 forks.
Very nice. And can you take it home, Eric, please, with Tara's limerick?
Tara Road, 507 Erigah. The Primarch needs L'ak for a smooth Breen succession, but Tarina would rather make 0 concessions. A Betazoid card points to the archive. Good thing Disco's still got its spore drive. Moll gives herself up. It could mean L'ak's resurrection. Thought. A Betazoid named Doctor, named Marina, cannot be a coincidence.
I mean, yeah. Yep. True facts. That does it. This is, I think, our shortest show ever.
It's very
I'm like going through a rabbit hole of Romulan thing on the chat.
I like it. I like it. So stay tuned for S&P After Dark with Giraffe for more Romulan talk. Yeah, that's going to do it for this one, guys. We will be back next week with our review of episode 308 very quickly. Please hit that like button. If you aren't subbed, please hit that as well. Patrons, I forgot to do this at the top of the show. Happy hour. We're going to skip it this week. I have too much going on. We're going to do it next week. But get the ingredients to make the 7 of limes because it's a yummy drink, and we'll have that next week. So for MC, for Giraffe, for Eric, I'm Julian. Live long and prosper. Majram. It's not easy being Breen.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.